attorney. We tell you more at 7 a.m.
Now at 9, we catch up with teachers and students as another school year begins.
Arkansas State Police are investigating a violent beating by police that was caught on camera. I'm Garrett Tenney in Chicago. I've got the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abby. Carthage schools are more optimistic than before about this school year. KOAM's Yana Hadale explains.
Kindergarten year, school shut down in March and never came back. Their first grade year was the first year of COVID and everyone was masked and quarantines, massive amounts of quarantines. And then last year, the spread of the disease got so bad that we had to shut down schools for days at a time.
For this year's third graders, there have always been COVID-19 precautions. Now that the school year is seemingly back to normal, hopefully kids can begin to enjoy their school experience.
We will monitor the situation and, just like we have done over the last couple of years, make adjustments if we need to as the year goes.
If cases skyrocket, schools are prepared to deal with the change thanks to their previous COVID experiences.
That's the other comforting thing, is even though none of us want that to happen again, we have done it now.
Huntley mentions it is important for the teachers to have kids sitting in classroom in front of them to maximize the learning experience.
We can provide work for them, but not being in the class makes it at least doubly as difficult to learn.
Students and faculty have hope for the upcoming year.
For the first time in a couple of years, we enter the school year pretty optimistic.
In Carthage, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
Huntley says COVID-19 is now treated as just any other sickness. If students are feeling sick, they should just stay home. More than 7,500 students returned to class today in Joplin as well. That, of course, includes students over at Irving Elementary on McClelland Boulevard. Teachers there were on hand to greet the returning students, welcome them into a brand new school year. Now, some of the students were nervous. That's okay, right? Others were ready to go.
My favorite subject is math because I've been practicing math for years and I'm really good at it.
Good for you, little man. Irving also started the year with a new principal, Jordan Atkins, who's the school's former assistant principal. Missouri Southern today kicked off the new school year with its annual picnic, offering a free lunch for students, faculty, and staff. It's part of a busy week of activities to reacquaint everyone with the campus, organizations, opportunities, and each other.
It's an opportunity for us, one, to showcase what we have to offer, but also for these students to get engaged and get involved, and ultimately create experiences for them to, enjoy themselves while they're here at Missouri Southern. That's what it's all about, making sure that they find a home here, enjoy themselves, and carry that through till graduation.
Tomorrow morning is the university's free donuts and coffee day to students from 7:30 to 9:30. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now. Good weather for the first day of school, too.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good Monday for us today. We have partly to mostly sunny skies. Temperature is pretty good, 88 for a high. Normal high is 90 degrees, record high 103, set back in 1983. Not a whole bunch is going on here. We have pretty much clear skies now. We've had some showers, some clouds off to our south, but these are going to stay south of the region as we go through the overnight hours. Temperatures decently comfortable. Mid to upper 70s to near 80 right now. We'll drop back to about 65, near 90 for a high tomorrow. We'll talk about when we're going to see some rain chances here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks as always. An Iowa-based trucking company today announced its plans to acquire CFI logistic operations in Mexico. The acquisition is for $525 million. Headquartered in Joplin, CFI provides dry, van, and temperature-controlled truckload services to major customers throughout the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. Officials say the acquisition by Heartland Express would make the company the 8th largest truckload fleet here in the U.S. To learn more about the agreement, just head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Authorities have charged a suspect for a bomb explosion in a dumpster in Parsons, Kansas last week. 63-year-old James Sutton now faces arson and criminal use of explosives, among other charges. The explosion happened around 4:55 last Monday morning in a dumpster in a parking lot outside the Labette County Judicial Center. There were no reports of injuries. One Oklahoma County Sheriff's deputy is dead. Another in stable condition. This after they were shot today serving eviction papers at a home in Oklahoma City. Officers arrested one person after a street chase through the city's southeast side. Authorities are not yet releasing many details. A warning, next story is graphic. 3 Arkansas officers suspended after a violent arrest was caught on tape. The video shows the officers beating a suspect, now at the center of an investigation into use of force by state police. Fox News correspondent Garrett Tenney has these details.
This is bad.
3 Arkansas law enforcement officers have been suspended, and state police have launched an investigation into use of force after this video went viral, showing a violent arrest in the small town of Mulberry.
This is not what our law enforcement community represents. It's not the proper response.
The video shows one officer punching the suspect, 27-year-old Randall Worcester of South Carolina, and at one point slamming his head to the ground. Another officer can be seen striking Worcester with his knee, and a third was holding him down during the beating.
They will be punished for what they did if they are found to be in violation of any rights, laws, or anything like that.
The incident started when officers responded to a report of a man making threats outside a convenience store Sunday. Following the beating, Worcester was taken to the hospital and later booked into the county jail on multiple charges, including second-degree battery, resisting arrest, and making terroristic threats. The 3 veteran officers involved, Mulberry Police Officer Thel Riddle and Crawford County Sheriff's Deputies Zach King and Levi White, have been placed on leave until the investigation is over. The Crawford County Sheriff saying the video did not capture the entire incident.
When they were going to take him into custody is when he started to fight, became violent with them.
But vowing to be transparent during the investigation.
I give my word to everybody that I will take appropriate action.
Once the state police investigation is done, the case will be sent to the local county prosecutor to decide if the officer's use of force was legal. In Chicago, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
Prices at the pump could be making a U-turn. I know, just when you thought things were beginning to look better. Prices at the pump increasing ahead of the Labor Day holiday. Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble reporting now from Chicago.
It's true, gas prices have fallen for the last 10 weeks in a row. The national average today is about 50 cents lower than it was 1 month ago. Take a look at that national average for a gallon of gas. It's $3.90. But that's almost 75 cents higher than it was 1 year ago. The Biden administration didn't take responsibility as gas prices were on the way up, as you know, largely placing the blame on Vladimir Putin. But the administration is taking credit as they're on the way down.
We've been bringing down the price of gas. It's fallen every single day this summer. If you can't remember the last time it's happened, that's because it's never happened before.
This president has moved in dramatic ways to increase supply by releasing 1 million barrels per day from our Strategic Petroleum Reserve, as well as calling on our domestic producers as well as international producers.
The experts we've spoken to, though, say the release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve has had a small impact on the price at the pump. Might have lowered prices 10, 15, maybe 20 cents a gallon while depleting the SPR to its lowest level since the 80s. The experts say one of the biggest factor in the lower prices, people started driving less and still are because prices were so high and they're worried about the economy. As far as where prices are going from here, most of the experts seem to agree that that $3.90 national average is about as low as prices will go for now. Some areas might see them go a little bit lower, while other areas are going to see prices do a U-turn and go higher. What all of the experts tend to agree on is that as we head into the winter months, home heating costs, utility costs are going to go way up compared to last year. In Chicago, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another 4-state hero. Tom Thiel, a served in the U.S. Army from 1970 to 71. Native of Columbus, Kansas, Thiel spent time in Vietnam, earning several awards. We are proud to thank and salute Captain Tom Thiel. He's tonight's.
Well, it turned out to be a great day for us today. Temperatures fantastic. Most of us mid to upper 80s to near 90 degrees. We did have partly sunny skies. There's a little cumulus clouds kind of popping up during the afternoon, but in general, it turned out to be a nice day. Nice shot Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. If we look back at this month so far, of course, it started out hot, but last week we had several days below normal. This week, we're starting the week below normal, so that's a better trend. We're heading from old pattern to the new pattern. And as we do that, we're seeing this change, which is going to give us a lot better signs for next summer compared to what we have seen this summer. Temperatures mainly sitting into the mid to upper 70s, still near 80. Once you get out from Chanute, Independence, Nowata, hanging on strong, right about 80 degrees, but our humidity is not that bad. Dew point's kind of in that 55 to 60 degree range. So when you throw this into our dew point tracker, what this tells our body is it doesn't feel too bad. It feels a little bit sticky, but overall, it's pretty nice outside. 7th and range line sitting at 76, northerly winds 5 to 10, humidity is at 56%. Nothing going on here. Any clouds we had earlier today, which were just partly cloudy skies, those are gone. Had some showers down to our south, Oklahoma and parts of Arkansas. Of course, Texas has seen a ton of rain over the past couple days with a tropical system. All this rain is mainly staying to the south of us, so we don't have any big storm systems heading in our direction over the next few days. Let's go ahead and break it down. We'll go through time. By morning, sitting into the mid 60s. So a nice start, warm through the 60s, 70s, lower 80s by noon. I think we'll top out maybe a notch or two hotter than what we saw today, about 89 or 90 degrees as we get into the afternoon. 84 by noon, high temp 89. Easterly winds are going to be light at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, we drop back into the mid 60s once again, and then as we go into the daytime hours for us tomorrow, temperatures look pretty, or on Wednesday look pretty good as well, as we should warm into lower 90s during the afternoon. So temps over the next couple days, pretty good. They do start to heat up a little bit more by the time we head into Thursday and Friday. Upper 90s on Thursday. We're going to be upper 90s on Friday. Then we're going to start to get at least some chances for showers and thunderstorms trying to work in here by the time we head into Saturday and also on Sunday, with some thunderstorm chances, which will definitely be nice. All right, let's go 89 tomorrow, 91 on Wednesday, 94 on Thursday, 95 Friday, so we do heat up, and then some thunderstorm chances by the weekend. But all this week is going to be mainly dry.
No 100s. No 100s.
I know. Kind of pushing it, but not bad.
Yeah. See you in a little bit. Doug, thank you as always. 4,000 beagles that were rescued from a Virginia research facility are winning the hearts of pet lovers all over the country. The facility had been breeding the dogs for medical research. Well, federal officials accuse the company now, Envigor RMS in Cumberland, Virginia, of animal welfare violations, and the dogs were removed. They're now up for adoption. Look at them. The Humane Society of the United States is working with dozens of shelters across the country to get the dogs into loving homes. Coming up, the effort to learn more about the Mar-a-Lago search.
The affidavit behind the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago could be one step closer to...
Experts are sounding the alarm about websites selling abortion pills. A recent article by the Wall Street Journal says websites that provide abortion pills are thriving, and that is worrying pharmacies, federal regulators, health providers as well. Experts say it's an unregulated market with risks. Some websites sell pills that aren't reviewed by the FDA. Drugs could be contaminated, even fake. The report says the pills are made by companies in China, Vietnam, and Russia. Buyers can also face prosecution if they don't have prescriptions in states that now limit abortion. Federal judge says he's still inclined to release at least some portions of the affidavit used to justify the search of Mar-a-Lago, this despite acknowledging the reasons why the DOJ wants to keep the document a secret. Meanwhile, former President Trump's attorney says he's planning to take action to see if the FBI went too far, took too much. Fox's Madeline Rivera reporting now from D.C.
In a new filing, a federal judge is formally rejecting the Justice Department's request to keep the entire affidavit tied to the Mar-a-Lago search under wraps. The DOJ argues unsealing portions of the document could compromise its investigation and set a precedent that could be disruptive in future cases. But given the public interest, the judge says the government has not yet shown that these administrative concerns are sufficient to justify sealing.
the Justice Department's going to propose a highly redacted document, the court may push back on that.
The judge did leave open the possibility that the redactions could make the affidavit meaningless, a conclusion he says he may reach after receiving the government's response.
I think it falls on the FBI, the Department of Justice, to show us your cards.
As the DOJ works to submit its proposed redactions by Thursday, efforts to find out what led to the search are gaining steam on Capitol Hill. A group of top congressional leaders charged with reviewing the most sensitive intelligence information are reportedly asking the Biden administration for access to the documents that were seized in former President Trump's home.
We deal with classified documents and information all the time. Show us what it is that you went into the president's residence, spent 9 hours at former President Trump's residence.
Former President Trump is mulling over asking a federal judge to appoint a third-party independent special master to review the evidence collected by the FBI during the search. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead, continuing frustrations at those airports.
Continuing. I'm Madison Allworth with Fox Business. The full story straight ahead.
Amid record inflation, nearly half of adult Americans are holding on to unused gift cards and store credits. New data from creditcards.com finding that 47% of people have lost money after losing gift cards or letting them expire. Do you have any unused gift cards, Doug?
Oh, I got a ton.
He's got a ton. He's got a ton. Well, give me some, man. Give me some. Now, each of those individuals in the story, anyway, having an average of $175 on those gift cards. That's up from $116 in 2021. Younger adults are more likely to have these unused gift cards. You young Doug Hetty, what should we do with you? Doordash and Walmart calling off their 4-year-long partnership. According to a recent report by Insider, starting next month, DoorDash won't deliver any items or groceries purchased from Walmart to customers. The company started working together back in 2018. Walmart is currently developing its own delivery service called Spark. According to Walmart, Spark is responsible for 75% of its deliveries and serves 84% of U.S. households. DoorDash now working with Facebook to deliver items purchased on the Facebook marketplace. Airlines still in chaos. Nearly 9,000 flights were delayed over the weekend, just the weekend. Government solution? New rules. Fox Business Network's Madison Allworth has these details.
The government wants you to be compensated when your flight is delayed or canceled. In a letter to airlines released at the end of last week, Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg asking airlines at a minimum to include meal vouchers for delays of 3 hours or more and offer a hotel room for passengers who must wait overnight because of a delay or cancellation. Most U.S. airlines do provide meals or hotels if a flight is moved to the next morning. That is, if the disruption is their fault. But they are not yet legally required to do so. It's been a year of disrupted travel. 24% of flights have been delayed. And while things have gotten better since the spring and early summer, long-standing problems like staff shortages still stand in the way. Looking at the list of worst airports for delays and cancellations, 4 out of the top 10 for delays are in Florida.
Unlike other places in the country, Florida is a very attractive destination for travelers. And so when you have that much demand on the airspace, certainly the FAA has their hands full in terms of coming up with new ways and new ideas of handling that increased traffic.
The Department of Transportation also plans to release an interactive dashboard before Labor Day weekend. It will show travelers what each airline offers when it comes to delays and cancellations. Right now, what you are entitled to depends on what airline you are flying. In Tampa, Florida, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Consider yourself really lucky if you've ever, by chance, not on purpose, gotten yourself this close to a mountain lion, with no scrapes or bruises on you. Going to meet one woman who recently did next. McDonald's bringing a twist to a classic menu item to the U.S. The fast food chain testing the chicken Big Mac in certain Miami locations. I wish it was Miami, but no, it's far away, Miami. It was a huge hit in the UK after being released there earlier this year. The chicken Big Mac is going to replace the 2 beef burger patties with 2 tempura chicken patties. It's also going to include shredded lettuce, pickles, American cheese. McDonald's is going to be releasing the sandwich later this month for a limited time. I'd give that a try. All right, a Utah woman out hunting, coming face to face with a mountain lion. Man, shockingly, she wasn't hurt during the encounter. It happened over the weekend near Rush Valley. The woman says she felt something tugging on her leg while walking. The mountain lion was primarily like, "You mind if I get some of this chicken leg?" She was shocked to discover a mountain lion by her feet. She quickly hit the mountain lion with a walking stick and it backed up. The woman can be heard shouting to her friends nearby to stay away as she tries to back up herself. She managed to get away unharmed, but says the cougar followed them for about a mile before ended up turning around. Man, you get out of here. My chicken legs belong on me. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Seems Bats also thought the first day of school was coming up. Going to hear which school had to have them removed. Plus, a visit to Lamar, Missouri for a fair that's free. Empty school buildings this summer led to one district to deal with some unwanted guests. KOAM's Jalen Banks shares with us how to keep bats out of buildings.
Seneca Schools kicks off its school year tomorrow, and while prepping, they discovered some new winged friends.
Well, it seems like, we've had bats that move in and out. Like they'll come in, and then once there gets, during the summer when everything's closed down, lights are turned off, and it happens in a lot of gyms and a lot of facilities. And then once we start getting things back in and people are in the buildings and we're getting lights on, then they move out. But it just seemed like this year there was more than normal.
School didn't want to harm the bats, so they had them removed.
And we wanted to do it humanely. And it's not something that's easy to get rid of. So we wanted to do it humanely and safely. And bats are, just honestly, I've learned a lot about bats through this process, but they're an important part of our ecosystem, and being able to get them out of the building in a safe manner to where they can be relocated.
The Missouri Conservation suggests caulking crevices, holes, and cracks to keep bats out of the property. They said covering vents with thick cloths also helps.
You need to make it so the bats can fly out, but they can't fly back in. And this is all situationally specific, depending on what kind of hole they're getting in, out, and back in.
They also say there's no need to be afraid of the bats.
Bats have always kind of had a scary reputation. They hang out at night. They've become associated with Halloween and some of the things that scare us. So because of that, they have this eerie, this mysterious and scary reputation. Right. They provide a lot of benefits for us. They eat mosquitoes and other flying insects. They eat a lot of moths that can lead to caterpillars, which can lead to farm pests for the following year. So they provide a lot of benefits for us.
In Seneca, Missouri, Jalen Banks, KOAM.
To find more information on bats in Missouri, go ahead and visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. 100 Women Who Care made a $3,000 donation to the Joplin Community Clinic. The funds provided will be used to help women in the Joplin community who are on fixed incomes obtain wellness checks, mammograms, also lab work. 100 Women Who Care is a women-based organization which raises money for local charities.
Truthfully, about 100 people. Where the way that we work, we're able to access a lot of other resources, so this funding can really stretch to meet the needs of a lot of women.
Care Clinic says it's going to be able to help about 100 patients with wellness checks. These days, you might think twice if something says it's free, right? There's always fine print, right? Well, this fair is free. It's a fair. It's officially called the Lamar Free Fair. Events like a preteen and teen pageant, hobby show, art exhibit have already kicked off. Now Wednesday, though, carnival and rides open.
The young farmers, they're not all young, but the farmers that do it have all come to my husband afterwards and said, "This is so much fun, please do it again." And that's all it takes. And so as long as they're enjoying it and coming and participating, then he just keeps doing it.
It looks like fun too. This is the 79th annual Lamar Free Fair. May have noticed a new vibrant mural. Look at that at the Fort Scott water treatment plants. The work of artist Stephen Toll. It's taken him so far a month and a half, 8 gallons of primer, 60 days of spray paint, and 30 hours of work. Toll says he's still not done.
Around the corner there's like a clam with a pearl in it, and I like that. I like the pearl in there. And then just all the little fish. It's just a couple of stripes of paint, you know, but all of a sudden there's the suggestion of a fish there, you know, and so I like those really well.
Toll says he wants to also add some artwork to the giant west wall of the treatment plant as well. A bit later, a household name
Says he is stepping down after 50 years of government service. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with reaction from his critics in Congress coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great Monday for us. We had some showers, some thunderstorms over the weekend, mainly Saturday, but since then it has actually turned out to be pretty nice. Temperatures very comfortable for us today as we sat mainly into the mid to upper 80s for highs. It feels great out there right now. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Now, remember the second half of June, super hot. July, super hot. First half of August, super hot. But over about the past 10 days or so, we've had a trend that has gone downward, which is great. Several days last week that we were below average, and that's where we are once again to start this week. We're going to start to creep back up toward it and above it later on this week, but at least we're not seeing triple-digit heat across the region. 72 in Stockton, 74 Anderson, 78 in Chetopa, Pitt, 74, 80 in Chanute, Miami, sitting at 74 degrees. And our humidity is not that bad. We measure this, one way we measure it is with dew points. Dew points hanging out right around 60 degrees, and that makes it feel to your body not too bad across the region, which is always pretty good. 7th, range line 76. Northerly winds are light. Humidity is at 56%. Nothing's going on here. We had a few random clouds out there earlier today, but now it looks pretty good. Of course, still some showers to our south. We had that huge tropical system that affected especially Texas over the weekend, dropped, over a foot of rain right around Dallas, Fort Worth, and then rain extends all the way into the southern plains. Besides that, there's not a whole bunch going on. What we are starting to see as we trend through the month of August is we're seeing the pattern switching from the old pattern into the new pattern. The new pattern will be fully set. This is my pattern, the heady pattern. It will be fully set third week of September. And once that occurs, then we're really going to start to see some changes. Until then, just kind of boring. That's the way it's been over the past few weeks, but at least it's cooler. We're going to be into lower 80s by noon. We should make it upper 80s to near 90. Today our official high was 88. I think tomorrow we're looking a little bit closer to 90. 84 by noon. High temp of 89 during the afternoon. Tomorrow night looks good. We drop back into the mid 60s. Much of the same as we go into Wednesday. Still partly to mostly sunny skies. Notch or two hotter, right around 90 degrees during the afternoon, which is fine. We can manage all that. Then we'll start to see some changes, heating up a little bit by the time we head into Thursday and Friday as we elevate through the 90s and push 100. I think we'll stay below it. Well, we're going to make a couple runs at it. All right, 89 tomorrow, 91 Wednesday, 94 Thursday, 95 Friday. Rain chances not until the weekend, so all work week we're going to be dry.
And it's still hot. We'll put that out there.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely hot.
But we'll take this, right?
It's a better grade of hot.
Yeah, no doubt. Doug Henry, thank you so much. Just as Doug was talking about, drivers are stranded across Dallas today as several inches of rain fell there. Fox Weather's Robert Ray was there when one woman got caught in the floodwater.
Stephanie Carroll found herself stuck in high floodwaters Monday morning as rain pummeled North Texas. I witnessed the moment she lost control of the vehicle and pulled her out of the car's window to safety.
I thought I was gonna die.
It's just one of dozens of rescues that took place when rain swamped the Dallas area. The National Weather Service says more than 9 inches fell within a few hours. That's about as much rain as the city sees in an average summer. The water quickly turned streets into rivers, submerging cars and leaving people with little time to escape.
My tires got stuck and I tried to reverse it, tried to go forward, and it wouldn't go. And then before I knew it, it was just going higher and higher, and I had to open my car door, flooded my whole car.
Some drivers say they waited on the side of the road for hours, hoping for help.
I grabbed all I could that was important at the moment, and I just kind of swam out and got to the side, and I've been here since like 2:30 in the morning.
As these weather conditions move further east, millions of Americans remain under flood watches. This same storm system pummeled Utah over the weekend, sending water rushing through streets. Business owners spent hours pushing water and mud outside their buildings. Texas authorities are reminding drivers to turn around if they see water that is flooded in roads like behind me. In Dallas, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Goodness. All right, coming up in sports, going to hear from the St. Paul High School football team as they prepare for the 2022 season. Plus, Webb City softball heading into the fall with plenty of new faces. Jacob Leonard has that story and more.
The St. Paul Indians are entering their second week of fall football practice. St. Paul has a nice group of upperclassmen returning from a team that was 6-3 overall in 2021. There are 4 seniors on this roster, including returning starting quarterback Trey Peters. Peters threw for 750 yards and 15 touchdowns last season, while also rushing for more than 500 and 5 more scores. Peters and 3 other talented seniors will try to lead St. Paul back to the top of the Three Rivers League for the first time since 2019.
We had won the league, 5 years in a row before we got knocked off 2 years ago, and then we got second last year. So we'd like to get back up to the top of the league. It's a good, solid league. They're dedicated to trying to make a run at a league championship, and of course you have bigger goals than that, but we can't look past the first game.
I think on the offensive side of the ball, we got some really fast kids. We look really good there. And on the defense, we like to fly around. Our linebackers are really good.
I think our strengths is we got good overall team speed, and I think our leadership at the top is very, very good.
The Webb City softball team is just 1 week away from their first game of the season. The Cards will kick off their schedule next Monday on the road against Nevada. Webb City is coming off its 3rd straight district championship, but they'll have plenty of new faces on the field this fall. The Cards lose 8 of 9 starters from last year's team. The one starter they do get back is sophomore pitcher Laney Taylor. Webb City doesn't have any seniors. They got just a handful of juniors, so they head into the fall with a pretty young group.
We are really young, and we've just had the 2 weeks of practice together. But, I think there's a lot of potential in a lot of areas. Defensively, we're looking pretty solid and with a lot of depth, so that's a good sign.
We're going to have tough opponents to beat, so we're coming in knowing that it's going to be tough for us, but we know that we can rise to it, and we know that we're there for each other. We always have each other's back 100%.
The Kansas City Royals begin a 6-game homestand today. The Royals host a single game against the White Sox this afternoon before a pair of games against the Diamondbacks on Tuesday and Wednesday. To today's game, Royals put the pressure on early. First inning, Salvador Perez back up the middle. That scores MJ Melendez. The Royals go up 1-0. Just 2 batters later, they got the bases loaded. Michael Massey singles off the wall out there and right. 1 run scores on that. Make it 2-0. Second inning. Not so great news here for Kansas City. It's 4-0, but Vinny Pasquantino flies out to center. He will be in some pain and leave the game with right shoulder discomfort. 8th inning, tied at 4. Drew Waters just called up today. Takes ball 4 with the bases loaded. That's actually his first career RBI. Royals get the lead with that, and they would hold it, winning today 6-4. In the National League, the St. Louis Cardinals open a rivalry series tonight with the Chicago Cubs. The Cards are on a roll right now, winning 7 straight games coming into the night. And they won this one too, 1-0 over Chicago. And the lone run of the night came on an Albert Pujols solo home run in the 7th inning. And for Pujols, it's career home run number 693. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
After spending several decades in government service, Dr. Anthony Fauci announced today he's going to be stepping down in December. Fauci said he has no intentions of retiring. Rather, he wants to spend his time inspiring the next generation of scientific leaders. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has more details from Washington.
The expert Americans listened to for much of the coronavirus pandemic has announced he is stepping down.
When this is all over and it will end, you will see a curve.
Dr. Anthony Fauci will leave the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases in December. He said, quote, "After more than 50 years of government service, I plan to pursue the next phase of my career while I still have so much energy and passion for my field." Fauci has worked under every president since Ronald Reagan, most recently serving as the chief medical advisor for President Biden, who said, "The United States of America is stronger, more resilient, and healthier because of him." Dr. Fauci's time as the nation's top infectious disease expert has at times been met with pushback. One of his loudest critics, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, has repeatedly sparred with Fauci in congressional hearings.
The NIH refuses. Look, we ask them.
Senator Paul promises more. Quote, "Fauci's resignation will not prevent a full-throated investigation into the origins of the pandemic." The high-profile resignation announcement comes just after the Centers for Disease Control admitted they fell short on COVID. The CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says they will be making changes.
Clearly, the mandates and the lockdowns and the closing of the schools to virtual learning, all of that was a public health mistake. There's no question.
Senator Paul isn't the only one who wants Dr. Fauci to testify. Some House Republicans also want to hold their own hearings. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Gonna run through all the movies and music now available